Good evening and bienvenue. Welcome to another episode of Montreal by Night, where we see the goings on in the shadows of the dark Canaanites of the dark city, Montreal. This evening, Dr. Durden, who has been spending quite a bit of his attention focused on making sure that he's got stability in the city, has been reaching out for contact with Jacob Burns, who has agreed to host him at his yacht for a conversation. So the good doctor will travel down to where the yacht is so that they can meet up. Rusty will be dressed in his very good suit, very well presentable. He is carrying tinted glasses with him, but he's not necessarily going to wear them as the docks aren't probably terribly bright at this time of night. But you never know. And yeah, heads down to the pier that he was told to be able to find this yacht.
When the doctor arrives at the piers in Point St. Charles, you will notice a boat that has the name The Hammer written across it. And just as Jacob related to you, this is exactly the one. And you will actually find Mr. Burns awaiting for you upon the dock. You see him sitting in a chair, dressed in his more casual attire, suit and tie and all, but just a vest with a white button down, no jacket. He'll wave to you and gesture to his ghoul Lester to lower the plank to allow you to embark on the ship.
Okay, I'll wait till the plank is firmly in place before stepping onto it and just walking at a casual pace. Good evening, Mr. Burns.
Jacob will stand up to greet you and extend a hand. Dr. Durden, good to see you again. Good evening.
I'll shake the hand. I appreciate the audience. I know that you and your pack have been quite busy with this company's Megalodon? Megadon?
Megadon.
Megadon.
Yes.
Yes, Megalodon, that's a dinosaur. And he'll kind of give a half smile. Um, but I appreciate the opportunity because I did have some business I wanted to discuss with you.
Oh, of course. Anything a fellow brother or sister of the Sabbat may need, I'd gladly be of assistance. What can I do for you?
Um, well, it's kind of a reciprocal question in all. The reason I wanted to meet with you was twofold. Uh, I've been trying to acquaint myself with the various denizens of the city, and my encounter with the strays brought two things to my attention. One being that the various packs are not necessarily going to be as approachable as the apex has been with a stranger just wandering around to encounter them. Uh, Fortunately, nothing terrible occurred from the interaction, but it still was very awkward and difficult to really get anywhere in conversation with them. I was more or less told that it would probably be easier if I had the support of a pack to be able to help smooth out such encounters. And as by the name Apex, I presume you are the best pack in the city. I presume that would be the best option for me to seek acceptance in.
You see a smile cross Jacob's face. Well, Doctor, you do flatter me. But, are we the best? To be humble, perhaps we are. Perhaps. But do we strive to be the best? Yes, yes, indeed we do. And I can understand our brothers and sisters and their hesitation when it comes to a stranger. Although I always try the different approach, one with open arms and a welcoming smile. Because if you act as if you have something to hide, that just makes people a little bit more interested in what you're hiding. However, so, brother, if it is a pack that you're willing and wanting to join, the Apex is always welcome to take new members. Of course, on the condition that you can accept your predatory nature. Are you a predator, Dr. Durden?
Yes, I am a predator. Um, I suppose in some perspectives I may have been one even before my rebirth.
Jacob looks at you, kind of eyes you up and down. He kind of gestures over to a seat that is placed out for the table. He kind of expected us to have a conversation. Please do take a seat. Let us talk. Tell me, what was it like for you before your rebirth? What made you a predator then?
I I've always had desires and urges that most individuals would, in mortal society, would frown upon or consider to be slightly unconventional at best. Um, I've had some situations where I've had to move my practice as I got a little too familiar with some of my patients. I did seek out ways to express those instincts without it interfering with my work. Uh, and when my sire found me at that fateful night, well, I'm sure actually he had found me quite a bit before then, but when he introduced himself to me that night, he gave me much more skills in being able to assess and utilize those instincts and the skills that I had in trying to contain such behaviors so that they didn't bring undue attention.
Hmm. Hmm. Tell me, doctor, what was it about your patients that drew you to them? Was it their helplessness? Was it some other bloom on them that caught your eye?
He'll get a bit of a half smirk. The that helplessness, that damsel in distress, that je ne sais quoi, the that appearance of being naive or actually being naive just stirs something within me.
Hmm.
Like they need to be educated, guided into a wider area of experience. And then he'll kind of smile with his fangs extended. And there's a lot more to this world for them to experience.
Hmm. Yes. Yes, I can understand the sentiment indeed. There's so much more for them to know that they walk around like sheep. You just want to rip the eyelids off of them to expose them to what's really going on. Hmm. You see Jacob kind of just wishfully looking up at the moon when he says that.
At times, though, mm, now my beast roils at such opportunities, as it seems to be feeding off of such initial urges, which thankfully works well to the benefit of our society, as it's good to keep the beast under control, but to utilize it like any other aspect of our nature.
Mm. Yes, the beast. How it is a detriment to us at times. And you see Jacob kind of lowering his gaze from the moon, looking down at the deck. He kind of lingers off. And you could definitely sense that something else is stirred in his mind. But, Doctor, that's good to know that you've had your own past experiences in being a predator, and that you understand the balance necessary between being a predator and being a beast. Why, any animal could be a beast. A wildebeest is a beast. A stag is a beast. But what are they? They are prey. They are not predators. A predator must always be cunning and always in control. Just like a wolf that could track its prey for days and days and days. You must have the discipline and the fortitude to stay on top.
Patience. The patience of the viper or the scorpion that sits there and waits until the perfect opportunity to strike.
Very good analogy. Tell me something, Doctor. If if you had a spirit animal, which animal do you think it would be?
Ah, well, I think it would be cliche to select one of the serpents, though I do have a very strong affinity due to my nature of blood. Um, but hmm, perhaps I should study animal behavior a little bit more. But I think that my analogy probably speaks for it. The viper or the scorpion. Uh, I've I have a terrarium in my office with a scorpion in it. I figured it would be a little bit too on the nose to have pet snakes, and insects seem a little bit more tolerant of our presence than regular animals.
May I ask, Doctor, is it a thing amongst your, how do I put this, uh, amongst you and your cousins to keep snakes?
Oftentimes, I think those of us who are free thinkers of the Sabbat uh, tend to not necessarily focus on it as obsessively as our enslaved cousins, but nonetheless, yeah, serpents in various forms. The rainbow serpent, I think, is a lot more of a common, the voodoo analogies of the Sabbat branch, but our enslaved cousins are very obsessive about serpentine symbolism. Actually, that would be the second part of my twofold purpose of wanting to seek you out after my encounter with the strays, as they had shared some symbols that they said that they had seen from Megadon, or the one of the situations that was revolving around Megadon, and that was very much um, Egyptian serpent symbology, the symbols of Apep and the other dark uh, gods that my cousins are enslaved to.
Hmm. Yes, I have been within the HQ of Megadon. I spoke to Mr. Knox myself. He does keep such symbology and trappings surrounded by him.
Yeah, I had suspected as such for I believe I believe the strays have encountered a minion or something of his kind for when it looked like we were going to have a physical altercation, assuming a combat stance with my powers of the blood seemed to have a negative impact as they were reminded of some of the beings that they had seen in a previous match with the Megadon.
Oh, really? Do enlighten me.
Well, I hadn't realized because I believe it was your one packmate is a serpent of the light as well, is she not? When we
Hmm.
first encountered.
Yes, Nadia.
Yes, that was her name, Nadia. So I hadn't realized that our birthrights were that unfamiliar to the people of Montreal. Uh, but when I had been tackled and seemingly needing to prepare for combat, I had gotten myself prepared for combat, and at that point, he's going to enact Serpentis, uh, and yeah, I was going to do the skin of the adder, where my skin will start to sprout out the scales of a snake, and my fangs will lengthen as my mouth widens to more serpentine type mouth. And this is the form I took to defend myself, and they were very much disconcerted at the appearance.
You'll just see Jacob raise an eyebrow, and at the same time, you'll notice that the surrounding lights kind of not the lights themselves, but things seem to get a little darker. Dr. Durden, if we may take this inside, if you wish to stay in that form, I prefer not so public.
Not expected it to be public, I guess. There are some out here still. And he will head in, but he will comfortably stay in the form because at this point, especially if we're going inside, why bother dropping it?
Right. Oh, you know how neighbors can be. Sometimes these people with their other yachts and their boats just never seem to get on land, but they must take comfort and entertainment on spying what their neighbors do.
I suppose.
But yes, Jacob will lead you into the yacht properly. He'll take you into the dining area. It's somewhat big. It's nice and cozy. There's a table there, and you'll actually run across Lester, who will ask you politely. He'll be disturbed by your appearance at first, but recognizing the clothes that are still on you, he'll take you for Dr. Durden. Is there anything I can get you, sir? Anything to refresh you?
He'll kind of lick his lips a little bit, and then he's like, "No, not right now. I am fine."
And yeah, Jacob will just lead you into the kitchen, and well, we'll get to talk. I'm sorry, not the kitchen, but the dining area. So that makes a lot of sense. I suppose it was Miss Jones who was startled the most.
Um, Give me one quick sec so I can make sure. Yes, actually, Miss Jones was. She was all bluff, and she's the one that tackled me and was all ready to throw down. And then when she gazed upon this form, she cowered like a stray cat.
Mm. Miss Jones has been very useful, a very dependable scout and master of infiltration. It was her report of the inner workings of Megadon's headquarters that first gave us any information about what goes on there. She said she encountered some sort of creature, one that I could not understand or describe. Sister Nadia never took on this guise as you have now before me. So it now at least puts the pieces together.
Yes, it would be apparent that this is very likely what it was that she had seen.
Hmm. Still, I wonder, and I hope this is not going too far, making more questions than necessary. But I do believe that Mr. Knox is not on all entirely human. I've met the man, but there's something about him that is unholy. I wonder if this was him who she saw in this guise, or if there is more than one person of a supernatural nature within the headquarters of Megadon.
Hmm, it's possible. It would be worth investigating to find out.
It would be. However, getting inside of Megadon is no easy task. In order to in order to discover the nature of more of its members, it would be best if we had eyes and ears on the place, watching the comings and goings of people and cornering them when they are alone. But even then, you must take great care that they either, well, forget our presence or are never aware of it. Because there will come a time that as soon as they are alerted that we are still watching them and watching even more and ever more closely, at some point, Megadon will strike back.
Yes, that's definitely true. That there would be that risk of tipping our hand if we expose ourselves too much.
Don't get me wrong, though, Dr. Durden. I am the type of man that would prefer to go in there guns blazing and just wipe the whole place clean. I have no problem with a little bit of bloodshed. However, our dear Archbishop would probably be a little peeved if it made headlines the next night that a building all of a sudden was burnt down without explanation.
Yes, and any eyewitness accounts would put a lot on my plate to try to discredit, especially if there was views such as myself or, God forbid, a Zamisi in Zulu form.
Hmm. Hmm. There is, though, perhaps one avenue I've been examining. It's a long shot, but it could possibly topple the giant without necessarily removing his head. Have you had a chance to speak to Lady Labusa of the Scorpions?
Uh, no, I have not encountered any of the scorpions personally.
Well, they
Uh,
have recently returned from an expedition into Maraville. Some strange things are going on there. Lady Labusa let me know that there seems to be something of a mage in Maraville who has kidnapped an archbishop of the Sabbat.
give, just a moment, Mr. Burns. Isn't that the Archbishop?
Lady Labusa?
Yes.
No.
No.
Lady Labusa.
Okay. I just got totally confused there with names. My bad.
It's fine, Dr. Durden. Lady Labusa is the Ductess of the Scorpions. You are thinking of Lady Boswell.
There we go. That's why I was confused. I'm like the name Labusa sounded familiar, but I've never encountered anyone of the Scorpions to my knowledge, so
It's fine. It's fine. But yes, in Maraville, its archbishop has been kidnapped by this mage. This mage is using the archbishop as a source of power. In what way, I don't know. Such a thing is unknown to me and the inner workings of it. But I had an epiphany. If this mage is that powerful to kidnap an archbishop of the Sabbat, which is a situation I think we need to rectify soon enough, aside from all the other problems we have, then perhaps if we could strike a deal, bargain a trade, this Knox fellow, and perhaps anyone else working with him that might be of a supernatural lean, perhaps we can get his assistance in aiding us to make the trade possible, wherein we can get Anthony Knox, stake him, and deliver him to the mage and free this archbishop, whom I say to you, my brother in arms, would not be a bad feather in our cap, now would it?
no, actually, that'd be quite well. Though I'll caution, if depending upon this Nox's true nature, that could be almost as difficult as just rescuing the Archbishop straight out.
Hmm, indeed. The thing is, this Knox fellow, he moves. He has to leave his headquarters sometime. And when he's away from it, when he's less secure, would be the best time to strike. I mean, a man like him is unfortunately a little too famous for someone of his nature. Why, it wouldn't be unreasonable that someone would kidnap him for his money. It happens in Mexico all the time.
We are not in Mexico, though, but it is still a plausible uh, explanation.
I'm just saying that if a carjacking happened and the biggest part of that news was that it was Mr. Knox, well, I'm pretty sure Mr. Knox's friends would try to keep that story as quiet as possible before people started digging deeper.
We might not even need to be that obvious either. I'm sure somebody with Mr. Knox's position and power, especially if he's one of my enslaved cousins, would have a private jet available, having him leave the country wouldn't necessarily be a newsworthy item either.
Hmm, indeed. And if we could possibly do this without raising any suspicions, raising a single eyebrow as to whom abducted Mr. Knox, it would do us a great service, because then, once we deliver Mr. Knox into the hands of this mage, somewhere down the line, a anonymous phone call, an anonymous tip of the location of Mr. Knox could wipe out the mage for us altogether.
Yes, because I think that we don't necessarily want to leave him thinking that he's not only able to kidnap our brethren with impunity, but that he's going to start demanding uh, uh, tribute from us periodically.
Hmm. I haven't even thought of that, Mr. Durden. Yes, exactly. We don't want to establish some idea that he can take any brother or sister of ours, and that we would
Yes.
pay ransom for it.
So we give him what we want to get rid of. We get back what we want, and um, we can find somebody else to, at the very least, weaken this mage for us to finish him off.
Hmm. Well then, it is a sound plan. There's only two fronts that we need to start on. One, the observation of Mr. Knox's coming and goings, getting a reasonably detailed window of opportunity in which to take him. And, well, I believe this is the much harder part, successfully getting towards this mage in Maryville and getting out alive.
Well, I do believe that this is very attainable, the surveillance, and if we can get Knox, then getting him to Maryville should be probably the easiest of the opportunities.
Hoping that the mage would agree. Hoping so. If not, then I suppose we have a blood bag that we could feed from while we rip that mage apart.
Yeah.
But in any case, back to a more personal subject, your petition for membership of the Apex. Yes, Brother Durden, you are welcome to join the Apex. It is good to have you if you still wish to join.
Yes, I do. I believe that it will be a good fit and beneficial on both ends.
I should introduce you to our new member, Brother Malachi. He's not around this evening, but as soon as I possibly can, I'd like to make the introduction.
Very well. And Ductus Zarek is he going to require anything of me prior to making it official, or are you is your pack operate in such a way that you can make these decisions single-handedly?
You see Jacob eyebrows kind of furrow. Hmm. Yes, the good doctor. He leans in, kind of crossing his arms, putting them on the table. Unfortunately, Lord Zarek has suffered a falling from his grace, so to speak. He has fell to the depredations of the beast, and with the help of both the strays and the scorpions, we are able to subdue him. He is unconscious for the moment, staked. It is my plan to bring him before the Archbishop to see if he can be remedied. If not, well, then whatever steps must be necessary must follow through.
Hmm. Well, I've never had the opportunity to attempt, but if the Archbishop believes that his sanity can be salvaged, I'd be very interested in attempting to try to get some lucidity out of him.
Hmm. I will make that known to the Archbishop. It is regrettable. I was there, well, I was face to face with Zarek when I saw the stake plunge him in the back. It's like he didn't even recognize me. But we are all brothers and sisters, and I will not make this a matter of opportunity. If he cannot be helped, then and only then, with the blessings of the Archbishop, will he be destroyed out of mercy. But I would rather see him rehabilitated. He is most useful and almost exemplar of what the Apex is trying to attain. He only needed the discipline.
Well, as I said, I would be most curious. I unfortunately have not had a lot of personal experience with alternative mindsets to keep the beast at bay, but I believe that an opportunity to put my psychological experience to use in trying to get through to somebody ravaged by the beast would be an opportunity that I would very much endeavor to rise to.
I would appreciate that, Doctor. I'd appreciate that. I forgot your particular area of expertise when it comes to medicine.
Yes, and I do believe a little bit more in therapy than in drugging people up. So I don't think dosing him up with Fey or werewolf blood would necessarily help anyway. So, and there's only so much Valium in the world for a vampire. So,
Hmm. Tell me something, Doctor. Just on a side note, have you ever thought about using what your knowledge, this knowledge of psychology, its therapeutic nature? Have you ever thought about putting it in reverse?
yes. So I was a little bit interested in observing and assisting when the two of you were reforming your ghouls. The experience, the pain that they must have been feeling. Um, I, uh, I do sometimes think about whether or not I should try pushing somebody in the wrong direction, but it's so difficult to make your pay your bills and amass a fortune when your patients die. But I have been successful in, I guess, slowing down people's rehabilitation so that they don't get out of therapy very quickly.
Hmm. Well, you know, Doctor, I have that particular talent of erasing certain memories from people. I'm not, I've always been curious of its psychological ramifications, how deep one could scar the psyche, and how far my ability can go to erase it momentarily, if only. So, if perhaps, I'm only theorizing, if you needed to have a repeat customer after their rehabilitation or, well, your night of extravagance, I could always just do the mind trick on them.
Well, that would be a fun experiment to try sometime.
Hmm. Well, as a matter of fact, let's try now. I haven't introduced you to Pig yet, have I? Give me one moment. And see Jacob get up, and he'll go away for a while. Kind of leave you there in silence for a moment. We'll just hear like the moorings of the outside in the ocean. When he comes back, you'll notice that there's a there's a guy he's leading on all fours with a chain collar and a gimp outfit. Dr. Durden, I'd like you to meet Pig. Pig, this is Dr. Durden.
He'll he has dropped his combat form, and uh, he'll grin and chuckle at the situation. I see you've been fairly successful at your work with him.
Oh, I've barely just begun. I mean, I've given him some of the blood, not fully yet. Mostly I've just dominated him into submission. He's afraid for his life. Pig here, the reason why he's called Pig, is here only because he is greedy. We met some night at a concert, and playing upon his lusts, playing upon his wants and desires, he never bothered to ask me a single question as to my nature, or to even where I'm from or who I am. See, Pig, being greedy got you where you are. So, Doctor, if there's someone you need to practice on, go feel free in here. You can play with Piglet any time. Jacob leans over to you. I'm trying to reinforce the idea that I'm the only one that won't harm him too much.
I see. Well then, I will help reinforce that idea for you. He'll kneel down and he'll look at Pig and kind of try to see how far gone or where his sense of identity is. I'm going to make a perception psychology because I just kind of want to. Well, actually, no, I'd have to actually talk to him probably for that, but I want at least a perception empathy so I can kind of see where he's at and I guess, what his emotional state is at this point, how much he's enslaved to you by the blood, and how much is just his own. So I got 2 successes on 8s.
Um, you can tell for the most part that there's a lot of fear in him. A lot of fear. It's not mostly the blood that's done its work. It's just you can tell that he's afraid. He doesn't really know what to do. What's next? You can almost tell that he bears a resemblance to a hostage.
Okay. And you want him to know that you're the only one that's not going to harm him too bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is his, well, what is this? If his current willpower points is more than 6, otherwise,
I would say not. I
yeah,
would say not.
I
Yeah.
would say not. So I have very strongly entranced him, and at that level, he's a thrall. So Pig Mr. Burns says that I can play with you. Do you like to play?
Pig, you use presence on him, right?
Yeah, presence 3, entrancement.
Um, Pig will just nod. Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm.
Stick out your arm, pig. I'm
He'll
feeling a little peckish.
he'll put out both arms since you just said arm. He doesn't know which one you want, so he'll just present both.
Okay. I'll hold on to his hands with my hands and I'll just kind of look down at him. And as I blink, my irises will go gold and hold him in place. And then I'm going to slowly extend my tongue up his nose before the forks will dig in and I will start feeding from inside his nostril with my tongue.
Ooh.
And I have grip of the damned.
Oh,
So
wow.
he is going to be in agonizing pain, but because of Serpentis 1, he's probably not going to be able to pull away from being rooted in spot. As I'll just slowly, savoringly feed a point of blood off of him before pulling the tongue out. And now, Pig, could you tell us how that was for you? Be open and honest, please.
Pig will look at Jacob, and Jacob will just gesture. Answer the man. It it hurt.
Now, I want you to realize, Pig, that I did this because I could, and because I was told I couldn't hurt you more. Other people outside this boat would not hold back. They're going to hurt you more because you're a greedy little pig. Do you understand?
Pig nods.
If
Yes.
you disappoint Mr. Burns, I'm going to have to come back and I'm going to have to punish you some more.
Pig kind of just coils around Jacob's leg. Okay, I'll be good. I'll be good.
You make sure he's happy. You be a good little piggy because I don't want to have to come back here and feed you some bacon. And with that, he'll just kind of brush his hand along this side of Pig's ribs.
um, uh, Jacob just pats Pig on the head. There, Pig. There. Excuse me, doctor. Let me put him to bed. 1 second. And Jacob will, take up the collar that he has, and he'll lead him back. And he'll just tell Pig to get into bed, and he'll affix the chains around his collar, so though Pig is no longer on a leash, he really can't get out of the bed. It's all right, Piglet. It's all right. Now you see, that's what happens when Mr. Burns' friends come over and you're not a good little boy. The next time, you should be just a little bit better on your behavior. And Jacob will bite into his wrists. But here, take some of this good medicine. It'll make you feel better. And he'll feed him a blood point. Nighty night, Piggo. Nighty night. And he'll just turn off the lights and leave. Coming back to Dr. Durden. Yeah, thank you for that, Doctor. Just a project I'm working on. I mean, really, I don't really care about the pig. Just
Well,
experiment.
it's always interesting to see how much a person can take before it's too much.
Indeed, indeed. I'm fairly certain at some point I'm going to let him be exposed to how I treat my other ghouls, which is far better than him. I wonder what jealousy will do.
Ah, jealousy is very much a good impetus for individuals. That's where ambition comes from. Without envy, there'd be no ambition, there'd be no creativity. He might be a very useful tool for you, depending upon what his actual skill set is.
You know, I've never even bothered to ask. I should look at that.
You might want to know that before he starts to forget.
That is true. I mean, he could be a computer wizard for all I know. Hmm.
Yeah,
But I will try to arrange a meeting between the Apex and yourself so all of us together may formally Voldery together and accept you into the pack as one. But consider yourself a member in standing as it is. If anybody questions what pack you're in, you may proudly say you are Apex.
very
I will.
well. My priest.
Hmm. How are you getting along these nights? Do you have a place to stay?
Yes, I've managed to get myself set up rather comfortably in Marial since my arrival, so I I am doing okay. I think, especially if we're going to start attracting the attention of, or I'm going to attract the attention of others that are either enemies of the sect or individuals who are jealous of the Apex's status and role. I think I should probably look into increasing the security of my lodging, but it's comfortable at least for now.
Hmm. That's good. That's good. There are some projects that is Apex specific that we've been working on as of late. Brother Malachi is something of a computer genius. When the time is right and he has all the appropriate hardware he needs, we plan on, how do I say this, creating some false credentials for ourselves. We want to infiltrate Dawson's College and put in our straw man identities. This way we can all have some sort of bachelorette masters, some badge that seems official just enough to keep doors open for us.
Hmm. Wow. Excellent. And if he can do that successfully enough, uh, might have a word with him about how to make some some more assets, some cash flow from such skills.
I'm pretty sure a doctor like yourself would definitely benefit from having perhaps some sort of tenure, perhaps just a nighttime teacher for a what do they call it? Hmm. When
I know exactly what you're saying, and it's on the
yeah,
tip of my tongue.
yeah, exactly.
Intern.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Yes, I could use an intern to assist me with my sessions.
There's also something I've been personally working on. I'm putting together a street fair in Little Burgundy, something to open up business, something to attract some attention. For myself, I've been putting this together so that I may impress the business owners of Little Burgundy to see how successful it can be, but also with the people there on the streets at the time. A ripe opportunity for those of us who are subtle enough and know how to exploit humans. the right opportunity for us to insinuate ourselves within the network of the commerce that is in that part of town. If you can think of any creative way to apply your gifts, it would be a perfect opportunity for you.
Excellent. I'll definitely keep that in mind. I'm
Just,
sure I'll assist.
no, I'm sorry, go on. Yeah.
No, I was gonna say I'm sure I will assist a brother and packmate in such endeavors, and I'm sure I'll be able to find a way to make the investment in time and resources worth it.
Good, good. We can only go upwards, brother. We are the apex. Top of the food chain or nothing.
Amen.
Well, is there anything else that I can do for you this evening?
Mm, no, brother, actually, I think this has been a very productive meet. I will see what I have a few ideas brewing in the back of my mind that I'm going to see if I can make use of to help us with finding out the comings and goings of this potential cousin of mine.
Good.
Actually,
Let me know. And
you
if you need
showing
any
me the gig actually reminded me that they tend to surround themselves with ghouls, and ghouls aren't always treated well. Ghouls need to release their frustrations out on others, which might be a way to insinuate oneself as a confidant of a ghoul.
Hmm,
Hmm.
that is interesting. That would be that would be very promising if we could find their linchpin, their major domo of sorts, or even just their whipping dog, someone with access to the kingdom.
Yes, I think I'll try to pursue that train of thought and see what I can come up with to so we can tighten the noose and then watch the dominoes fall.
Very good. And always remember, us Apex, we stick together. If there's anything that you need help with, you let me know. There's no reason in going solo.
For certainty, brother. And you can call on me as well.
Very well. Jacob will get up and he'll escort you to the to the plank. He even walk you down to the pier. Well, Dr. Durden, you get home to your haven safely, and I will call upon you as soon as I have gathered the rest of the Apex.
Very well then. I look forward to the pack meeting. And he'll nod respectfully and head back out to where his vehicle's parked.
And Jacob will again embark on his boat, entering it. He'll just spend the rest of his quiet night with Chloe.
And I believe at this point we can end scene. Thank you again. Au revoir. Have a good night. And we will see you guys at a later time. As we are the apex, you will always be able to see us because we are at the top. Look up.